In this video, we're going to be talking about a massive update to Stable Diffusion. So, they've released a blog post basically saying that they've released SDXL 1.0 and it is now covered by a commercial license. What does that mean? It means we can sell print on demand images, it means we can create our blog posts, it means all of these amazing things are now available for the new model of Stable Diffusion. Let me just start off by explaining something very, very important. Even this version of Stable Diffusion, which you can see here, has done all of these featured images. It does still struggle with people and hands and things like that. So although it is a really, really good step up and it's really, really good for example, print on demand, it still does have some problems with hands and arms and things. So generally what I've been doing, at least for blog featured images, is trying to use words like patterns, wallpaper, and things like that. But I'm also going to show you in this video a way to automate print on demand so you can sell images like this on Etsy, on Redbubble, on whatever the hell you want, basically. But let's talk about this. So SDXL 1.0 is the flagship image model from Stability AI and the best open model. So let's just be very, very clear here. When it says open model, it's not open source in the sense that it's free. You do have to pay for it, but it is open model for image generation. We've tested it against various other models and the results are conclusive. People prefer images generated by SDXL 1.0 over other open models. This research results from weeks of preference data captured from generations of experimental models on our Discord and from external testing. So this is like preference rate, and apparently 26%. It has a preference of 26% for SDXL 1.0. And the really cool thing about XL is that you can actually do larger images resolution, which is really, really nice. So better artwork for challenging concepts and styles. SDXL generates images of high quality in virtually any art style and is the best open model for photorealism. Distinct images can be prompted without having any particular feel imparted by the model, ensuring absolute freedom of style. SDXL 1.0 is particularly well tuned for vibrant and accurate colors, with better contrast, lighting, and shadows than its predecessor, all in native 1024 by 1024 resolution. So now what we can do is we can create a 1244 image. So that's great for a blog, for example. So what this means is the maximum is the sum of these two numbers, okay? Which is 2048, basically. But what does that mean? It means you can have one that's 833 and one that's 1500 resolution, which is perfect for a blog post featured image, for example. In addition, SDXL can generate concepts that are notoriously difficult for image models to render, such as hands and text or spatially arranged compositions. So hands, not seeing that yet. I've still seen some pretty bad hands, for example. But I mean, yeah, it definitely does seem better, but it still has problem with hands. Let's just be open and honest about this. More intelligent with simpler language. SDXL requires only a few words to create complex, detailed, and aesthetically pleasing images. This is something that a lot of people talk about in image generation models. I couldn't remember his name for a second there, but MatVid Pro AI talks a lot about this. A lot of people say, how can you expect like a good image from a bad prompt? But what I've read that he says anyway, I've never actually heard him say it, but apparently what he says is that you should really be able to get a really, really good image from a simple prompt. That would be the end goal. It shouldn't require 600 words of prompting to get something amazing. So users no longer need to invoke qualifier terms like masterpiece to get high quality images. Furthermore, SDXL can understand the differences between concepts like the red square, which is a famous place, versus a red square, which is a shape. Simple prompts, quality outputs. That's kind of the end goal from Stability, and it would be really, really nice if that were going to be possible. The largest open image model. SDXL has one of the largest parameter counts of any open access image model, built on an innovative new architecture composed of a 3.5 billion parameter base model and a 6.6 billion parameter refine. The full model consists of a mixture of experts pipeline for latent diffusion. In the first step, the base model generates noisy latents, which are then further processed with a refinement model specialized for the final denoising steps. Note that the base model can also be used as a standalone module. Interesting. This two-stage architecture allows for robustness in image generation without compromising on speed or requiring access compute resources. I have been testing quite a lot. I mean, I literally just generated 300 featured image posts, and it was incredibly quick. The image generation is super quick, which is really nice if we want to, for example, automate print on demand. SDXL 1.0 should work effectively on consumer GPUs with 8 gigabytes, Jesus, VRAM or really readily available cloud instances. Fine tuning and advanced control. So this is what I'm super interested in. I need to learn a lot more about this. I am not that good at that yet. I haven't really explored custom LoRa's or checkpoints. This is something I'm going to have to look a lot more into. With SDXL 1.0, fine-tuning the model to custom data is easier than ever. Custom LoRa's or checkpoints can be generated with less need for data wrangling. Interesting. The Stability AI team is building the next generation of task-specific structure, style, and composition controls with T21 ControlNet, specialized for SDXL. These features are currently in beta preview, but stay tuned for updates on fine-tuning. This looks really interesting, like turning that sneaker into that mountain, for example. Yeah. So SDXL 1.0 is live on ClipDrop. Blah, blah, blah. The weights. Dream Studio also has SDXL 1.0. And then the most important thing, the license. The license, it's released under the Creative ML OpenRail plus minus M license. And I put this license into ChatGPT. I read about what it says, and yeah, it's usable for commercial use, basically. From my understanding, this isn't legal advice. I think I have to say that, but I'm pretty sure you can use it for that was kind of the idea anyway, to release it. So what happens if you want to play with the API? Well, I'm actually going to show everyone how to do that in this video as well. So Dream Studio is personally what I use. You don't necessarily have to use this, but this is just the one that I stumbled upon basically. And this is the one that I've been using, and I've been having great success with it. What have I been having great success doing? I basically created my own Python script. So actually we're on GitHub here anyway, so let's just go on your profile. I'm working on a few different things at once here. Some of them are already released, some of them are going to be released. This is my auto blogger, which is to be released. And then if I go on my Printify automation, for example, what this does is it creates an image from a keyword that you give it, and then it puts that image onto a t-shirt or whatever you want basically, and then it uploads it to Printify, which you can then very easily put it onto Etsy. So that's one use case, and then the other use case is featured image blog posts, which I've also been using. And yeah, it's really interesting to be able to code finally using ChatGPT. But basically what you want to do is go on Google, type in Dream Studio API. This is if you want to do something like yourself, fully customizable, whatever you want to do. They actually have a new documentation. So yeah, we're going to use the REST API. So let's click on REST API basically. And then we have all of this information here. And the main one here is generation. Generation allows you to fully see how to generate an image, basically. So specifically for print on demand, for example, you only need these two parts here. So what you can do is you can just literally take from V1 generation, we can copy this here, for example. And this can be applied to anything. So all you'd need to do here is change the prompt. So I'm going to say, can you make me a Python script that I can input some words from a CSV, and Stability will create an image and output image path and title of, yeah, so we can do the SEO. So title of product, description, tags, whatever. We'll just keep it simple for this video. So you basically want to control V that part, and then we'll get the other part from wherever it is here. So we're going to probably upscale as well, because for print on demand specifically, you need to have quite high quality images. So we'll do this as well. Another thing we're probably going to have to do here actually is we're going to have to grab the actual Python. So we'll click on Python. And you probably would actually only need this part, to be fair, but we'll give it everything to make sure it's right. So this is the upscale part of the Python. So we'll just put this at the bottom. Upscale Python example. Oops. And then we'll do the same. I'm just showing you guys how to do this so you can fully utilize stability without having to rely on anyone, basically. I think that's such an important part of anything you do. It's so nice to not have to rely on other people. And this is going to be Python for image generation. The end goal is a print-on-demand image generator, which also upscales. Okay, and then one thing I like to do is Control-A, Control-C before I press Enter, just in case the prompt is too long. But it looks like the prompt is fine. So, based on your requirement, I've made a Python script that reads from a CSV file, generates images based on text input, and then upscales the images. Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, obviously we would have needed the OpenAI thing as well to do the SEO. So at the moment, this is just going to create an image, which is fine. We'll the SEO would have to use OpenAI. It wouldn't work with just Python or just stability. So let's press copy here. And then you're going to need two things real quick. You're going to need Visual Studio Code, and you need Python as well. So download Python, download Visual Studio Code. You might need something called pip as well, but I think pip comes with Python now, but just in case, you might need pip as well. Once you have Visual Studio Code, open it, and then we're going to make a new folder. This is my automated blogging system, which has just produced 300 articles for me. So let's press open file here, and let's just get out of the auto blogger, and then we're going to create a new file, and we'll call this stability, and then open stability. I pressed file, didn't I? Always do that. Open folder, find the folder we just made. So stability, and then select it. Okay, now right click here, new file. Let's call it run.py. The name really does not matter. And then we'll control V the script into it like this. And it looks like we're going to have to, well, first of all, we need the input CSV. Okay, so let's see how the input CSV actually works. Can you give me an example input.csv with some keywords around cats in space, cats in other funny places, etc. So this will give it in the format that it already needs to be, which is perfect. It also gives you the description and tags, which is really nice. So we'll just copy this here. This is just an example again. So right click here again, new file, new file. This should be input.csv. Okay, this actually should just work now. So let's click terminal, new terminal, and then we'll do Python run.py. There are a few reasons why this might not work, but we'll see what happens basically. Oh, okay, so the CSV file in the run.py script, you can see what the problem is here, but if you don't understand coding, what I normally do is copy and paste the error into ChatGPT. So it can't find the file we're trying to read from, and that's because ChatGPT used an image path that just says path to your CSV file. So what we can do instead is we can do input.csv here, and then that should work, unless there's another problem. There is, of course, another problem, which is, as you can see here, incorrect API provided. So obviously I didn't put my API key in. So let's click on Dream Studios. Let's add a new one, which I will delete immediately after this video has been released. Okay, so normally it'll be very easy to get your stability API key, but for some reason it's just not working right now. You just press the plus here and it should work. Luckily I have one stored with a conversation with a friend, so I can find out where I have to put my API key, which is right here. And then we'll try this again. Let's see what happens. So it says generating image for cat in space, a cat floating in space surrounded by stars and planets, cat, space, stars, planets. Funny. Let's see what is outputted here. Okay, so we have another problem, which is when it tried to output the file here, something happened. So let's put that into ChatGPT. Oh, okay. So it's trying to put it into a folder called out. So I can do new folder, out, like that. Another thing I could do is probably the other suggestion that it makes, which is to make the out file. Yeah, it's right here. This is something else we could do, but we'll see if this works just by creating the out file myself. Okay, so as you can see, nothing else changed. All I did, I just showed you exactly how to do this yourselves. And now when I click on out, we should see an upscaled image of a cat in space. Absolutely beautiful. And then I also have a script on my GitHub, guys. Wow, oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah, I also have a script on my GitHub which allows you to automatically upload these kind of things onto mugs, t-shirts, whatever the hell you want to sell. As you can see, it's still generating images right here. So we'll just do cat in a shoe. Once the cat in the shoe is done, then I will end the video right there. Very, very happy with the results. And yeah, this new update is huge. It's finally available for use commercially. So I'm going to update my print on demand script as well. And yeah, you can start selling these kind of images on Etsy or wherever the hell you want. Thank you for watching. My auto blogging script is coming. I'm just waiting to see some results. I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out.